that's one thing that you're really good at is, there's not ego about what you do when you get on the camera, and when you're in settings like this, you're very value driven. And
I mean, there are a lot of great people that do what I do. There's a lot of great people that do what you do. But at the end of the day, we do things differently. We can communicate it differently. So while you may have the best website, if nobody knows how to get to it or nobody knows how to use it, then it's not going to be a very successful site itself. And so for me, being a great, mortgage originator, owner of a company, it's about taking in other things from a lot of other people. We talked about that earlier, swipe and adapt.
Yep.
It's about taking all that information in, adapting it to what I feel is best for whether it's my clients or my organization, and then being able to communicate that out to other people so that they could look at it and say, wow, he got it from somewhere and made it his own. I can take his and make it my own.
Yep.
Right? And I think the sharing approach works well. I mean, that's the same thing we do with all of our buyer communication. I mean, anything that we put out there on social media is designed to help them get further along in their life. Okay. Now, if they choose to use me for any of those services that I do offer, that's their choice. They've made a buying decision. They have not ever felt that I've made them feel like I'm selling them something. Right. And so that's the sharing mindset. The giving approach is take what you know. It's blessed you, it's helped you. Now turn around and give it to somebody else and let them, reap the same reward.
Let me ask you a question. Are you ever in a room full of yous? Mortgage lenders, mortgage originators, people in the mortgage industry.
In years past, I've been in that more so than what I do today. That was my client, was the originator, and as I built companies based on the origination teams, I was in those rooms. Today, it's a little bit different. I'm not so much focused on the growth from an originator side. I'm more focused on the growth from a client acquisition side. So I'm not in that space as much as what I would like, because there's a lot of great originators out there that do share. And so while I'm not in the same room, I do listen to them on YouTube or listen to them on Instagram, just to gain some insight into how they're communicating certain strategies.
And see, that's what I was trying to tap into here.
Okay.
Because a lot of the real estate masterminds are based around realtors, right? And we ask them to come into the room and share their expertise and expose their strategies. And there's a couple of different mentalities about sharing, right? Some people are all open book, all game. You can hear everything I got to say because, like we were just explaining, there's not really, you hadn't thought of it first.
Right. You didn't think of that the first time, right?
You didn't really think of it first. Yeah. And then there's another mentality that is, I have something proprietary to myself and I'm not going to share it. I don't have an occasion to go into a room full of title reps. There's just, I know Fidelity has major national conferences and stuff, but because of COVID, we haven't had those things. So I haven't had the opportunity to be in front of a room full of me's, but I have gotten to my business and I feel very strongly about paying it forward. And we onboarded several new sales reps during the last 2 years, more so than I think we ever have it once before. And so a lot of them are trying to navigate the waters through title. They've been in sales and real estate positions before, but they're trying to navigate the title waters, which is extremely competitive, right?
Yeah.
So I find myself in rooms with them sharing knowledge because they need help, right? And so I think that you just get to the point in your career where people are going to come to you and want to know how you did what you did.
Yeah, and if you take the giving approach mindset or the abundance approach versus the scarcity or takers approach, that abundance and giver approach, you really understand that there's plenty of business out there for everybody.
Yep.
It's not that, by you telling someone and helping someone in their journey, in the journey that you've already been on, is going to take away from you. Once you realize that, you actually feel better about your journey, because then you can turn it over and share and then get back to doing what you do, right? I mean, and that's something, we talked about earlier, which is, one of the things that is a reality for my business and for your business is we don't get anything fed to us. It's not like we have accounts that just give us business and they just hand it to us. We actually have to go out and work for it. There's the hunters and there's the hunters and the gatherer,
Yep.
whatever it's called. I don't remember because I know I have to be all of it, right? Same with you. You got to hunt and you got to kill,
Yep.
and all that stuff, and that kind of gets us back to doing what we do every day. You finding that to be something that's rewarding, or is it a challenge? How do you go about I guess getting business consistently every day?
Well, I definitely use my competitors' weaknesses against them.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just an unfortunate part of this market, right? It's been extremely aggressive. The last year and a half, 2 years for title reps, if you have a book of business, once shelter in place was up, it was gangbusters. And I mean, we had the refi boom and then all the purchase business. And so everybody's hair was on fire. Well, that caused a lot of companies to not be able to keep up with the demand, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of the ways that I have taken accounts in the last year and a half was because of simple things that I never thought would be a sales point.
Yeah.
But can you close my deal on time is literally a sales point.
It is
right now. And
Yep.
the answer is yes, we can. Because my team is just like you said, we're fierce. We're not fed. We're not lazy. We're not relying on some automatic business to just keep us afloat, right? We have to fight and claw and scrape, and I make it sound like we're like wild animals, but
Yeah.
we have to earn every piece of business that we get, and then we got to keep it.
Then you got to keep it.
And
You can earn it one time, but
Yeah.
can you keep it coming, more month over month, right?
And so some of the separators in this business have been simple things like, can you close my deal on time? We've never met our escrow officer. The sales staff have never done anything to show appreciation for the business. I mean, I want 100 plus a deal a year account because we showed up and we closed the deal on time.
Yeah.
I'll take that all day long, Bob. I just think, it creates a higher level of service.
Yeah.
It just does.
I agree. I think when you're not in a position where business is just fed to you or it's given to you, you have to ensure that you show up every day, that you set an expectation that allows you to meet and exceed an expectation. Because, and I've said this before over the years, if you're trying to provide and have a satisfied client, I feel like you're on the pathway to bankruptcy. In today's world, you can't just have clients that are satisfied. They have to say, wow, that was an awesome experience.
I agree.
That awesome experience means there's a great book called Raving Fans. I think it's by Ken Blanchard, but it's called Raving Fans. And it's one of the best books I've read because it puts it in perspective. Satisfied clients are a pathway to bankruptcy, and you have to get people to say, wow, that was an awesome experience. And they're going to keep coming back to you. They're the ones that are going to refer somebody to you when you didn't even have to ask for the business, or when somebody talks about your company and maybe they're not talking about the company the way that they should be,
right.
They're going to step in and say, you know what, I had a great experience with that company.
Right.
So those are the kind of people that you're trying to cultivate and build and turn into those raving fans. And you can't do it just by handout open and empty and just doing what you're supposed to do, right? You have to build that mousetrap, that manufacturing line, that experience to be better than what they could get somewhere else. And you have to truly believe that yours is better, right? And then when you find holes, you have the team members to really work on it to improve it, because not every business is perfect. And all we should expect of our people is to work every day to be perfect, right? I mean, they can't be perfect, but let's just ask them to work every day to be that way. And if they get measurably better, even 1% a day, or even a month, that adds up to substantial value proposition to our clients.
I think the moment you forget that it's all about the client experience, the moment you lose any sight of it's only about the client, right? And my client is more than just my realtor.
Exactly.
It's also my escrow team I consider them my client because I need that mindset to take care of them in the same way that I take care of my real estate professionals.
Yep.
Because if I don't take care of my escrow team, they're not going to take care of my real estate professionals, right?
Yeah, yes, it's an understanding when you build a client-centric business, you have to understand who your client is first, right? Because some people may say, well, I'm going to build around the borrower. Let's say in your mortgage company situation, I'm going to build around the borrower. But if your business is coming from real estate agents, and that's where, let's say, 90% of your business is coming from, is it the borrower that's your client or is it the realtor that's your client? Right. And then once you understand it's the realtor that's your client, then you can build it, you can build everything around them because you know that they're needing proactive communication. You know, they need updates, status updates. They need on-time closings. They need a client, a borrower that they refer to as saying, wow, that was a great experience. So when you build all that, then they are like going, wow, man, you just made me look great. And so what happens is that client, while we want it to be multiple businesses over a 7-10 year period, really you're going to get more from that individual agent over that 7 to 10 year period, right?
I think an interesting contrast is, okay, I want to phrase this in the right way, so bear with me while I'm trying to think out loud. But based on some of my experiences lately with my competitors, I don't want to say it's become a lot easier to gain some new accounts because of the lack of service on their side. But I find in some segments of the market that it's unfortunate that you don't have to do much to stand out right now, because unfortunately there's a lot of people who are have reaped all the rewards. They're kind of kicked back. They've kind of relaxed some. Hey, I need a break, and I highly support taking time away to recharge. Absolutely, that's not what I'm trying to say. But this is a consistent fallback on customer service that we've been able to identify where those accounts are and really reap the rewards and take advantage of it for some of the things that I think should just be simple things to do in the flow of business. So do you find that to be, do you also share that experience, or do you also see that where you are?
Yeah, I mean, the thing that we look at in today's market that's different in some previous markets, especially in the last, couple of years, we had obviously a good run with lower interest rates, is they didn't have to work very hard. Loan officers didn't have to work very hard to get business. And a lot of the loan officers went to refis. And now that interest rates have gone up, those refis are gone, and
a lot of cash out refi campaigns coming through.
That's all they got, right? It's the only thing they got is cash out now, because nobody's really doing a rate and term unless they're going from a 30 to a 15. And now even that 15-year rates is where the 30 years used to be. So they got lazy, and they it's not necessarily customer service in the world that I'm living in right now. It's more that they just got lazy and got away from the principles, the fundamentals that they were supposed to be doing every day to ensure when the market does change, they don't have
a drastic drop in their pipeline.
Dip. I mean, our challenge is not so much a drastic dip in pipeline or in deals done every month. It's keeping up with the larger pipeline, because we do have larger pipelines now. Meaning pipelines are potential buyers that are going to be, let's say, purchasing, that want to purchase in the next 30, 60, 90 days, right? Our pipelines have started to get bigger because our funnel ends up getting smaller at the bottom with less inventory and challenges with how they're structuring the deal with how much money they need to go over the asking price, and sometimes in forms of like cash, large amounts. And so while you have this large pipeline of buyers, you have less of them coming out the bottom. And so you have to actually almost work 3 times as hard on those daily fundamentals to keep the pipeline full, to keep the pipeline active and committed to buying at some point in the future. So when the more buyers are continuously coming in, then your funnel can start to widen out a little bit, because you're attracting more attention to your business. I mean, it's a hard time right now.
It is,
and not meaning hard in like we're not making money, or we're realizing, more production. It's just hard because we have to work 3 times as hard a day for that one buyer than we had in previous years.
Yeah, and I think, we're experiencing the same thing because our realtor clients are experiencing the hardship, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we're kind of, it comes from you and the realtor and funnels down, and then we're the ones that close the deal. So, definitely had some really painful conversations with some of my valued realtor clients just because their pipeline hasn't been there. And, it's kind of like, okay, your hair was on fire for 2 years and now there's no inventory. So things have where are you with your pipeline? Have you been calling your sphere? What are you doing to kind of build things up a little bit again?
They haven't. They've been
remodeling their bathroom.
They've been getting lucky.
Yeah.
I mean, it didn't take a lot of skill to sell a lot of homes or to do a lot of loans. I'm not picking on anyone's side. I'm just saying it didn't take a lot of skill, right? I mean, people were calling and there was inventory and you just, interest rates were low and you just show them a house and it's done. When things change, and that's what happens, the highest skilled people thrive. Yeah. And you see people get out of the business because they realize they can't keep up, or they become part-time in some industries, right? They become part-time with that. And so they just, kind of bow out, I guess, of doing what they need to be doing every day to still make themselves relevant.
Yeah. I don't want to word things the wrong way, though. It's still a very fierce competition out there to be me. Yeah. And so Mary Frances said, you got to get up, suit up, and show up. And so I definitely do that, put my game face on, and I'm ready to go every day.
You come out back against the wall fighting. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think that's the thing that keeps people, we all started that way at some point, right? And it was when we started our career. Mm-hmm. Our back was against the wall. We had to come out fighting because we had to try to figure out how to make $1. Yep. Right? We had to get a client. We had to do all that kind of stuff. And then as you have success and you grow and you have a good client base, you either do one of 2 things. You get lazy, or you wake up like you did when you first started with your back against the wall, you come out fighting. Yep. And you are that person because you know that nobody's going to take your people away, but they are going to be people trying to.
Amen. All day, every day.
But you got to work hard to keep them. And then you also know that you have to continue to grow because it's attrition. People get out of the business, not for anything you did or I did.
No,
get out of the business, all that kind of stuff. So you got to keep fighting for that, right?
Yep. That's why we're good.
You do it, and you run one hell of a mastermind as well.
Thank you.
Which was a great mastermind. I heard from.
It was nice to see everybody today.
Metrotech Association of Realtors. We heard from them, right? Yep. That was a good one today.
We'll see what happens. And with that, I think we're a wrap.
Oh.
What?
No, we haven't started yet.
Yeah, good job.
Whatever. I saw him do the thing, and I already know you, Brandon.
You started talking. I was like, hey, man, let's get this going.
Yeah. I think someone's trying to get in here. That's why I was like, because we had 2 people try to come in.